Really excited to have Coach Courtney Deifel on with us. Coach, really appreciate the time. We're going to talk about this weekend coming up, but the kind of storm that went through Razorback land yesterday was Coke coming back to campus. We know Eric likes to drink Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, during games. What is your drink of choice during games?
Oh, I just drink some water. I actually drink lemonade. I put lemonade mix in it, so I'm really boring, but that is really exciting. The Coke, I think that fans probably appreciate Hunter for that just as much as all the athletic success that's happening on campus. So that was a pretty exciting thing yesterday.
Oh, Coach, you're part of that success on campus. I mean, this is incredible to be the first national seed in Razorback softball history. I looked at the record before you got to campus, and I thought I had it right. 16-37 the year before you got there. And I remember your first season, the Auburn weekend, which I know as a coach, it's not the wins that stick out, it's the losses. And it was a 54-0 run differential that weekend against the Auburn Tigers. Coach, just take me back from then to now and how much those losses and other parts of that season has fueled you and your team to get to this point.
Well, that was 54 runs in 15 innings, too. So if you want to point that out, we didn't even play the full 7 in any of those. But no, and in year one, those weren't the games that were the toughest. And I know that sounds a little crazy. It was the games that we were winning in the 7th and then gave it away, that we just didn't know how to finish. We were competing so much better, but we didn't know how to finish yet. At that time, Auburn was just flat better than us. And so those games don't hurt as much, but you need all those games. You need the 54-0 run differential. You need the not finishing in the 7th inning to want the team to do more. And at the end of the year, they did. And every year since, they've wanted to do more. And that's where it really comes from. And so it's been a fun road. It has been a bumpy road at some times, but we've enjoyed every step of it. And we're really, really enjoying where we are now.
Coach, I want to ask you about the camaraderie on campus. And we've asked Eric, we've asked Dave, we've asked Sam. And again, Coach Hale has talked to us about it. I mean, the success that Arkansas is experiencing right now is unbelievable. What have you picked up from just being on campus with other coaches and just this time for Razorback athletics right now?
Well, we really are just a close group, and it definitely starts at the top with Hunter. That's the culture that he creates of making sure we all feel that we're all in it together, and we really do feel that. I have to say that when you came in from break and I heard a big yes, sir, I had a big smile on my face for my buddy Sam, but we just are really close and we celebrate each other and we feel like we're in it together. And I just don't think that's normal. I don't think it's the norm. I don't think it's typical for the football coach to come to softball games regularly, to know our players' names, to talk about the softball success and his press conferences. And I just think that we all appreciate what each other are doing. We know that it's really hard to win. And we know that the battles that we have to do every day, and we just support each other. We're connected. When we have a big win, our group thread is going crazy and everybody's just so excited. And it's really, really fun and really special to be a part of.
Do you guys have a group text within the coaches on campus? Because I know Hunter's mentioned, I think, an athletics director's group text. What does that group text looks like on a weekly basis?
Well, some weeks it's slow and there's not much, but whenever we're all competing and we have big games, it blows up. And on Saturday night, it was really, really fun to get back to my phone. It wasn't fun to have to answer all the text that I got, but that's one of the threads that I look forward to looking at, just because we all know what it's like and we all know what it takes, and just for them to be just so excited for your group and to follow it, like to where the second the last pitch is or last out is made, they're on it and they're pumped, and it's incredibly special.
We're talking with Coach Courtney Deifel, head coach of Razorbacks softball this morning. Big weekend ahead as Arkansas is hosting a regional in Bogle Park. And, Coach, I want to talk about your team for a sec because it's been transfers. Arkansas football has had a bunch of transfers. The basketball team, baseball team, their top hitters are transfers. Well, two of your best players are transfers. And we'll start with KB Sides. It's not easy to convince someone playing softball that they should transfer from Alabama, which is a really good program. Coach, take me back to that process and kind of what that looked like, convincing her to come from Tuscaloosa to Fayetteville.
Well, that was interesting. It was interesting because she didn't really have the choice to go back for her last year. And so when she decided that she wanted to play her last year, because that was also the decision, it was a COVID year. I saw her in the portal and I reached out to her right away. I have a ton of respect for KB as an opponent. She was someone that always gave us fits when we played Alabama. She's just really good. And so I reached out to her right away and we talked. We probably talked for about an hour and I'm like, man, this kid is really cool. And it just seemed like she shared with me her process. She shared with me where she was at and it was just a really honest conversation. But we also just got to know each other as people. And as we got to know her better and got to talk to a lot of people, because we do a lot of research on our transfers, it was a no-brainer for us. We knew she could play on the field, but when we figured out the character piece and how great a fit she would be into our culture, it was a no-brainer for us. And I'm just really glad she said yes.
You mentioned doing the research on your recruits. Shaina Delos is another one coming from Tulsa who wins SEC Pitcher of the Year. KB wins Player of the Year. You win Coach of the Year. She's won Pitcher of the Year. You lock up 3 of the top 4 awards. What has she done for your pitching rotation this season?
Well, gosh, she's just made it so much stronger. And the thing with Shaina is that she just always wants to be better. And you have to appreciate that as a coach because you need your players to want to always push their limits and want to always be better. And that's what Shanice does. So Shanice's time here has been interesting because, the last time we had seen her before she transferred here, she had shut us down in a regional in 2019. So we knew she had the stuff. And so then we start looking into her. We're like, okay, she's competitive. She's a great kid. All these things. You listen to her. She's like, I want to be pushed, which are all those things that you want to hear, as a coach. And she has just got on campus and hasn't looked back. I mean, she just continues to push herself forward, but she's open to doing anything. She's incredibly coachable. And about 3 weeks into season, I said, you know what? I think we need something hardened down. And because she has a really good spin to her rise, she has a great screwball. And I'm like, I think we need something hardened down. And she's like, okay, I'll try it. And she picked up a drop in pretty much a day. But when she did that, she made everyone else better too. And that's the thing that people don't really look at. It's not only made her pitching profile better, but it made it even better for Mary Half and for the rest of our staff because she made herself a little bit different than everybody else. And that's exactly what we needed.
And Coach, you guys have shut out, I want to say it's 7 or 8 opponents this year. Maybe it's more than that. I mean, we always hear about sports, you win with defense, and pitching is kind of the equivalent with defense and fielding. What is that elevate? And you guys have bashed, I think, single season and home runs as well. Just how dynamic do you think your team has been this year on really both sides of the plate?
Well, I think we've been really dynamic, and quite honestly, I don't think we've been playing our best until recently. But yeah, I mean, the game starts in the circle, so you need your pitchers to give you a chance to win every time you take the field, and that's what our pitchers do. And then just having the offense that we have that can produce runs at the rate that they do, to put the pressure on the other team at the rate that they do, it frees everything else up. And that's the nice thing is that our pitchers don't feel like they have to be perfect. Our offense doesn't feel like they have to score a million runs, so everyone can play really freely. And it's a really great place to be. But we had to fight to get here. We weren't clicking all year. We had some really tough stretches where different groups, different people had to step up and kind of carry us. And so we've had to fight to get to where we're playing right now. And and we're enjoying it. I hope we can finish it out through the rest of the postseason.
Yeah, I think Arkansas fans are really excited to see where your team is at. And Coach Courtney Deifel with us here on the Morning Rush. Coach, you mentioned the research you did on recruits, and we just brought up two of them that stood out. I just got a text from co-host Clay Henry who asked a great question. Eric's talked about sharing notes with Sam and vice versa. You look at Arkansas football, basketball, baseball, 3 starters in football came out of the portal, 4 in basketball. The leading hitter right now in baseball is Michael Turner, who came from Kent State. Mm-hmm. We just mentioned 2 of your great players that came out of the portal. Do you as a coaching staff, do y'all share notes on portal? Is that something it's each individual on the sport itself?
Well, that's all each individual, because it's just where college athletics are, is just kind of using the portal to supplement what you have. And I also feel like we have to talk about our core group that's been here from the start with Mary Half, Hannah McEwen, Lenny Malkin, because we've picked up those transfers to just kind of supplement them. And we don't all talk about it, but I think we just all are kind of strategic and competitive and want to fill those spots that we really need from there. But gosh, everybody has done a great job in utilizing it.
So let's talk about this weekend. Princeton, game 1, Friday, 5, Bogle Park. What challenges does this team present to your ball club on Friday?
Well, they just won a championship, so they know how to win. And they're playing great softball. So the thing that we have to do going into this weekend, because we're kind of back into a non-conference type of schedule and we have 3 opponents, is just really focus on us. If we focus on us and just focus on the next pitch, I think we'll be okay. But we just got to take care of our side and take care of our game. But all these teams have earned a spot in the postseason, and we have a tough draw. But they all are tough at this point, and we'll have a battle this weekend.
Coach, before we let you go, you as a coach and as your team have transitioned from really the hunter to the hunted. First time, as I mentioned earlier, in program history that y'all have been a national seed. And I just wonder, when you're talking with your team and your gals, just kind of, does that play into the psyche at all during these games, especially postseason play? What changes with just how this program has been elevated when you talk with your team?
Well, it doesn't change as much as we just know we're going to get everybody's best game. We're not going to sneak up on anybody anymore. And we know we're going to get everybody's best game. And so we have to give the best of what we have that day. And that's really it. You know, we still, as a program, feel like we need to prove ourselves. You know, we feel like we have to take the opportunity to make a statement, and so we continue to do that. Yeah, this is our highest national seed. We actually were a 6th last year, but this is our highest in program history, and we just know that when you have those things, you're going to get everyone's best games. You're not sneaking up on anyone, and so we have to bring our A game every single time we take the field.
Coach, I really appreciate the time this morning. Again, 5 o'clock, SEC Network this Friday night in Bogle Park. I know you're excited, your team excited, and I know the entire fan base is going to be behind you this weekend. What's going to be a packed-out stadium. We really appreciate your time on a game week this morning.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me on. We're looking forward to this weekend.
All right, great stuff from Coach Courtney.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.